Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin has shown significant volatility. The price has fluctuated between a support of $108,100 and a resistance of $113,100. The RSI has been hovering around the 40 range, indicating a slightly oversold condition, but not strongly so. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for price swings. The forecast for the next week predicts a continued downward trend, with prices potentially reaching $106,800. Considering these factors, I recommend a contrarian strategy focusing on short-term opportunities. My strategy is a combined approach leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. I suggest entering a long position at $108,200, coinciding with the first forecast price and near the established support level. Place a stop-loss order at $107,700, just below the forecast price, to mitigate potential losses if the downward trend continues. Set a target price of $111,300, slightly below the recent resistance level, aiming to capitalize on a potential bounce back. This strategy combines the oversold RSI with the support level and the forecast data, providing a balanced approach to profit from short-term volatility while minimizing risk. The predicted movement based on the Bollinger Band suggests a downward trend, so the stop-loss should be set just below the forecast price. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum has shown volatility with a general upward trend. The RSI consistently fluctuates around 50 to 67, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have widened, suggesting increased price volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the support level of $3,800. The stop-loss will be placed slightly below the support at $3,750 to account for potential dips. The initial target price will be set at the recent resistance level of $4,510. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price falls to the lower band around $3,890, it signals a potential buying opportunity. The entry price will be $3,890, with a stop-loss at $3,750. The first target will be the middle band at $4,410, and the second target will be the upper band at $4,930. This combined strategy leverages both RSI and Bollinger Bands for a more robust approach, aiming for high returns while managing risk effectively. The final portfolio will be 60% of the first strategy and 40% of the second strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a mixed trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The RSI values fluctuate between 39.4 and 51.0, indicating periods of oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been contracting recently, suggesting a potential for increased volatility. Considering these factors, I propose a combined strategy utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands for optimal returns. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, signaling a potential oversold condition. For example, on September 8, 2025, the RSI is 2.67, and the bottom of the Bollinger Bands is 2.72. We enter a long position at $2.72 with a stop-loss at $2.67 and a target price of $3. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate support and resistance levels. If the price approaches the support level of $2.54 while the RSI is below 40, we will enter a long position at $2.54 with a stop-loss at $2.49 and a target price of $2.80. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 70 and the price reaches the resistance level of $2.86, we will initiate a short position at $2.86 with a stop-loss at $2.91 and a target price of $2.70. This combined approach, leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance, aims to capitalize on both trending and range-bound market conditions, maximizing potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows a mixed trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The support price consistently remains at $751, while the resistance fluctuates around $847. The RSI values generally fluctuate between 51.9 and 67.4, indicating neither consistently overbought nor oversold conditions. Considering the Bollinger Bands, the price has frequently touched the upper band, suggesting potential overbought scenarios. Therefore, my strategy focuses on capitalizing on potential pullbacks after brief upward movements. My recommended investment strategy is to wait for the RSI to drop below 20, indicating an oversold condition, then enter a long position at $843. The stop loss should be set slightly below the support level at $748 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price is $891, aiming to capture a reasonable profit from a potential bounce. If the price reaches $891, consider moving the stop loss to break even to protect profits and potentially ride further upward momentum. This strategy combines RSI and Bollinger Bands to identify oversold entry points and manage risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana shows a fluctuating trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently remains within the 48 to 63 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening and narrowing, suggesting periods of increased and decreased volatility. Considering the forecast for the next week, the price is expected to hover around $192 to $201. We will implement a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns. The primary strategy will be based on the RSI. We will enter a long position when the RSI dips below 50 and the price touches the support level of $191. The entry price will be $191. A stop-loss order will be placed at $188 to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $201, coinciding with the resistance level. If the price reaches $201, we will move the stop-loss to the break-even point of $191. If the RSI reaches 80, we will take partial profits at $201 and adjust the stop-loss to $197 to protect the remaining position. This combined approach aims to capture upward momentum while mitigating risk through strategic stop-loss adjustments. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a slight downward trend, particularly evident in the recent forecast prices. The RSI fluctuates between 45 and 71, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, suggesting decreasing volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a cautious strategy focused on short-term gains. We will implement a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands. The entry price will be $0.334 when the RSI falls below 50 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. The stop-loss price will be $0.329, just below the forecast price for September 8, 2025, to limit potential losses. The target price will be $0.345, aiming to capture a rebound towards the middle of the Bollinger Bands and previous resistance levels. This strategy combines technical indicators to identify potential entry and exit points, while the stop-loss and target prices are carefully determined to manage risk and maximize potential returns. The portfolio will allocate 60% to this strategy, 20% to a conservative bond fund, and 20% to a diversified equity ETF to balance risk and reward. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows a slight downward trend, with the forecast prices consistently hovering around $0.209 to $0.211. The support price remains steady at $0.201, while the resistance fluctuates around $0.223. The RSI values generally fluctuate between 44.6 and 56.7, indicating neither extreme overbought nor oversold conditions. Considering the Bollinger Bands, the price has been oscillating within the bands, suggesting moderate volatility. Therefore, a conservative strategy focusing on short-term price fluctuations is recommended. My proposed strategy is a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands, aiming for a moderate return with limited risk. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI falls below 40. The entry price will be $0.202. The stop loss will be set just below the support level at $0.200 to protect against a deeper decline. The target price will be set at the resistance level of $0.223, providing a potential profit of $0.021. If the price fails to reach the target within a week, we will close the position to minimize losses. This strategy leverages the anticipated price fluctuations within the Bollinger Bands while using the RSI to identify potential buying opportunities. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano shows a downtrend with significant volatility. The price has been fluctuating within a range, testing the resistance around $0.837 and finding support at $0.792. The RSI consistently hovers around the 50 level, indicating a neutral to slightly bearish momentum. The Bollinger Bands show a widening range, suggesting increased volatility and potential for price swings. Considering the forecast for the next week, with prices ranging from $0.81 to $0.778, I recommend a short selling strategy. The entry price for this short position will be $0.81, capitalizing on the downward forecast. The stop loss will be set at $0.83 to protect against unexpected upward price movements. The initial target price is $0.778, aligning with the lowest forecast price. If the price action breaks through this target, a second target will be set at the support price of $0.792. This strategy combines the downward trend, RSI readings, and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows a slight downtrend. The RSI consistently fluctuates, indicating indecision. However, the price has consistently found support around $19.9, and the Bollinger Bands have recently narrowed, suggesting a potential for increased volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a cautious strategy focused on short-term opportunities. We will utilize a combination of RSI and Bollinger Band signals. My strategy involves a long position entry at $23.3, coinciding with the forecast price on September 5, 2025, and the bottom of the Bollinger Band. A stop loss will be placed at $21.3, just below the recent support level and the bottom of the Bollinger Band to mitigate potential losses. The target price is set at $25.2, near the recent resistance level. If the price breaks below $21.3, we exit the position. If the price reaches $25.2, we take profits. This strategy aims to capitalize on short-term volatility while managing risk with clearly defined stop loss and target levels. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wrapped Beacon ETH shows a fluctuating trend with periods of consolidation and upward movement. The RSI consistently remains within the 50 to 67 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the Bollinger Bands suggest potential trading opportunities. When the price touches the lower band, it could be a buying opportunity, and when it touches the upper band, it could be a selling opportunity. Considering the forecast for September 2025, I propose a strategy focused on capitalizing on Bollinger Band breakouts. Specifically, I recommend entering a long position at $4,670, placing a stop loss at $4,580, and setting a target price at $4,850. This strategy aims to capture potential upward momentum indicated by the forecast, while the stop loss protects against downside risk. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate an RSI filter. If the RSI is below 30, consider a long position. If the RSI is above 70, consider a short position. For the long position, enter at $4,670, set a stop loss at $4,580, and target $4,850. For the short position, enter at $4,820, set a stop loss at $4,880, and target $4,670. This combined approach leverages both Bollinger Bands and RSI to identify high-probability trading opportunities, maximizing potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Zcash shows a slight upward trend with price fluctuations. The RSI consistently hovers around the 50 level, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the recent dip in RSI towards 40 suggests a potential short-term oversold opportunity. Considering the support price at $40, we can implement a buying strategy. We will enter a long position at $40.8, placing a stop-loss order at $39.8 to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $42.5, aligning with the historical resistance level. If the price reaches $42.5, we will consider moving the stop-loss to break even to secure profits and potentially ride the upward momentum further. To further refine the strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. The forecast data indicates that the price is likely to stay within the Bollinger Bands, suggesting moderate volatility. The center of the Bollinger Bands is consistently around $39.7, which can serve as a dynamic support level. If the price approaches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, around $33.2, it could signal an oversold condition, prompting us to consider a further long position. However, given the current upward trend and RSI levels, the initial strategy of entering at $40.8, with a stop-loss at $39.8 and a target at $42.5, offers a balanced approach to capitalize on the potential price appreciation while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin Cash exhibits a downtrend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates, indicating indecision, but generally stays above the oversold level of 20. The Bollinger Bands show periods where the price touches the lower band, suggesting potential oversold conditions. Given the forecast price for the next week is trending downwards, I recommend a short selling strategy. Entry price should be $539. Stop loss should be set at $546, slightly above the initial entry and recent resistance. The target price should be $533, aligning with the forecast price at the end of the week. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. When the RSI falls below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a strong potential for a short position. Therefore, if the price drops to $533 and the RSI is below 40, consider closing the position. If the price rises to $546 and the RSI is above 60, consider covering the short position. This combined approach leverages both momentum and volatility indicators to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. This strategy provides a clear entry, stop loss, and target price, ensuring disciplined trading and risk management. Based on the historical data and forecast, Decentraland shows a slight upward trend with price fluctuations. The RSI consistently remains above 40, indicating that the asset is not severely oversold. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the lower band. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the support level of $0.283. The entry price will be $0.283. To mitigate potential losses, a stop-loss order will be placed just below the support level at $0.277. The target price will be set at the resistance level of $0.296, aiming for a profit of $0.013. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI dips below 30 near the support level, signaling an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at $0.283. The stop loss will remain at $0.277. If the price approaches the upper Bollinger Band, indicating overbought conditions, we will consider taking profits at $0.296 or adjusting the stop loss to lock in gains. This combined approach leverages multiple indicators to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk, creating a robust portfolio. Based on the historical data and forecast, Maple Finance exhibits a mixed trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The RSI fluctuates between 37.8 and 55.3, indicating oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has recently been nearing the lower band, suggesting a potential bounce. Considering these factors, I recommend a combined strategy leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. First, we initiate a long position at $0.437 when the forecast price hits this level. The stop loss should be set just below the support price at $0.395 to protect against potential downside risks. Our initial target price is set at the resistance level of $0.473, offering a reasonable profit margin. If the price breaks through the resistance, we'll adjust our target to $0.463 based on the forecast data. This combined strategy balances risk and reward, capitalizing on potential rebounds while mitigating losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Filecoin shows a mixed trend with periods of volatility. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 40 to 50 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a period of consolidation. Considering the support price of $2.26 and the forecast price hovering around $2.23, a cautious approach is warranted. I propose a long position strategy when the price touches the support level of $2.26. The stop loss should be set just below the support at $2.23 to mitigate potential losses if the price breaks down. A target price of $2.38, near the previous resistance levels, offers a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, oversold, and the price touches the support level of $2.26, enter a long position. Set a stop loss at $2.23, and aim for a target price of $2.38. If the price approaches the upper Bollinger Band, consider taking partial profits or tightening the stop loss to protect gains. This blended approach combines support/resistance levels with momentum indicators for a more robust and adaptive investment strategy, aiming for high returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin has shown significant volatility. The price has fluctuated between a support of $108,100 and a resistance of $113,100. The RSI has been hovering around the 40 range, indicating a slightly oversold condition, but not strongly so. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for price swings. The forecast for the next week predicts a continued downward trend, with prices potentially reaching $106,800. Considering these factors, I recommend a contrarian strategy focusing on short-term opportunities. My strategy is a combined approach leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. I suggest entering a long position at $108,200, coinciding with the first forecast price and near the established support level. Place a stop-loss order at $107,700, just below the forecast price, to mitigate potential losses if the downward trend continues. Set a target price of $111,300, slightly below the recent resistance level, aiming to capitalize on a potential bounce back. This strategy combines the oversold RSI with the support level and the forecast data, providing a balanced approach to profit from short-term volatility while minimizing risk. The predicted movement based on the Bollinger Band suggests a downward trend, so the stop loss should be set just below the forecast price. Based on the historical data and forecast, PAX Gold demonstrates a clear upward trend. The RSI consistently moved above 50, indicating strengthening momentum, and recently reached overbought levels above 70, suggesting a potential pullback but not a trend reversal. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, confirming volatility and the upward trajectory. Given this, I recommend a strategy focused on capitalizing on the continued upward momentum. We will implement a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands. Our primary strategy involves entering a long position when the RSI dips below 40, indicating a temporary oversold condition. Specifically, we'll enter at $3,510. To manage risk, we will set a stop loss just below the lower Bollinger Band, at $3,260. Our target price will be based on a conservative projection of the forecast, aiming for $3,660. If the price reaches this target, we'll take profits. Furthermore, if the RSI reaches 80, we will take partial profits at $3,620 to secure gains and reduce exposure. This blended approach seeks to maximize returns while mitigating downside risk, aligning with a high returns investment strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Stellar shows a downtrend with decreasing momentum. The RSI consistently hovers below 50, indicating a weakening upward trend. The forecast for the next week predicts continued decline, with prices falling from $0.356 to $0.333. Considering the support level of $0.351 and the oversold RSI readings, I recommend a contrarian long position. The entry price should be $0.356, coinciding with the beginning of the forecast period. A stop loss should be placed just below the support level at $0.34 to limit potential losses. The target price should be set at $0.384, near the recent resistance level, aiming to capture a potential rebound. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate Bollinger Bands. The price is currently near the lower band, suggesting a potential bounce. The RSI is also approaching oversold territory. Combining these signals, I suggest a portfolio with 60% of the capital allocated to the contrarian long position described above, and 40% allocated to a short position at $0.36, with a stop loss at $0.37 and a target price of $0.34. This diversified approach mitigates risk and maximizes potential returns by capitalizing on both possible scenarios. This portfolio balances the potential upside of a bounce with the downside protection of a short position, offering a robust investment strategy for Stellar. Based on the historical data and forecast, DeXe exhibits a slight upward trend, bouncing between the support price of $7.39 and a resistance price of $8.18. The RSI fluctuates, spending time both above and below the 50 level, indicating periods of both overbought and oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a period of consolidation before a potential breakout. Considering these factors, I propose a strategy that combines elements of all three approaches. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 20, indicating an oversold condition. The initial entry price will be $7.36, with a stop loss set just below the support level at $7.35 to limit potential losses. The target price will be set at the nearest resistance level of $7.53, aiming for a quick profit. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price is trading near the lower band and the RSI is below 20, it strengthens the buy signal. If the forecast price for the next few days remains above $7.38, it further reinforces the upward trend. Therefore, we will maintain the long position until the price reaches $7.53 or the RSI crosses above 80, signaling an overbought condition. The final portfolio will prioritize the RSI strategy with Bollinger Bands confirmation and support/resistance level target prices, ensuring a balance between risk and reward. Based on the historical data and forecast, FR has shown a downtrend with a significant drop in price towards the end of August and a continued downward forecast for the first week of September. The RSI consistently fluctuating around the midpoint, with some dips below 40 suggests a weakening but not strongly bearish momentum. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, indicating decreasing volatility, and the price has been consistently below the moving average. Considering these factors, I recommend a short position strategy. We will enter a short position at $3.26, setting a stop loss at $3.38, just above the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, to protect against a potential rebound. Our initial target price is $3.09, aligning with the forecast for September 5, 2025. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI levels. If the RSI rises above 60, indicating an overbought condition, we will tighten our stop loss to $3.33. Conversely, if the RSI falls below 20, signaling an oversold condition, we will consider covering our short position at $3.12. This dynamic adjustment will allow us to capitalize on short-term fluctuations while maintaining a primary bearish outlook. This portfolio combines the technical indicators to maximize profit and minimize risk.